Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Migraine Mentors Minicasts. I'm one of your hosts, Dr. Eric Reese, and I'm excited to talk about this topic today because I feel like it's something that we consistently and continuously talk to patients about. And it's essentially the discussion between genetics and your environment, and the conversation about, are your genes actually the limiting factor, or is it the environment and the activities and the habits that you deploy? And newsflash, TLDR, your genetics may load the gun, but the environment is always the one that's going to pull the trigger. And or cause, symptoms, faster trajectory, have all of these things combined together. And what I'm going to tell you is that you can't change your genes. So with the conversation about looking at the genetic aspects to migraine, yes, it's relevant, but there's so many things that you can do to help yourself get over your migraine symptoms, increase your migraine frequency, eliminate your attacks, and the list goes on. And so I want to talk a bit about this today because I think it's a relevant topic. I think a lot of people have questions about it. And so let's get into it. So we know that people, statistically speaking, genetically speaking, a 4-to-1 ratio of females to men with regards to migraine. But on top of that as well, too, we know that migraine can kind of travel within families. And so if your sister has it, if your mother has it, there's kind of a higher chance that you might have migraine attacks as well. But it doesn't guarantee that you're going to. And so they've done so many studies in genetics with the BRCA breast cancer gene. They've done studies with prostate cancer. They've done so many studies on genetics and cancers and different types of diseases. And there's very few diseases out there that are strictly only genetically based. A lot of times what happens is the genetics set you up for this. And what happens is the environment kind of causes these things to manifest. So they've done some really large genetic studies on migraine specifically that do show some small DNA variants linked to migraine risk, but they are only part of the story, okay? These lifestyle factors, these environmental factors, your diet, your lifestyle, your habits, your sleep, all those things are actually what causes your genes to become expressed and or to turn the genes on and off. In previous episodes, we've mentioned, methylated B vitamins and why B vitamins are so important and why this whole methylation process really matters. Well, the methylation process is kind of like that light switch being turned on or turned off. And it's the same kind of factor that goes on to these genetic components for patients as well. So, there's some twin research studies that have been done in the migraine community. Estimates for like 40 to 60% of migraine risk is genetic. The rest is environmental and modifiable. And since you can't change your genes, you may as well focus on trying to do things that can actually have an impact. And so here are the things that you can change. Number one, your diet quality, the glycemic load, the blood sugar that you kind of put onto yourself is a really big factor. Small clinical trials have actually shown that low glycemic or even ketogenic style diets can actually be beneficial for people, can reduce the frequency and the intensity of migraine days. So the best suggestion for that is to start with a protein first, fiber first, healthy fat first kind of meal, and then minimizing your sugar spikes. So instead of your sugar spiking really fast like this and coming back down, we want to see a really flat, long, and extended release of blood sugar to where that peak is very low, but the extended release of that blood sugar is really the factor for it. Because a really fast peak of blood sugar is actually pro-inflammatory, meaning that it'll cause inflammation. We don't like that. There's a reason that people will get like diabetic neuropathies or diabetic retinopathies. The diabetic component, the blood sugar instability, these rapid spikes can actually just rip apart neurons, which you don't like, I don't like, nobody likes. The next thing is moving your body and getting enough physical exercise. We've done multiple episodes on this. We've done multiple newsletters on this. I can't emphasize how important physical exercise is for just brain health in general. But a 2019 meta-analysis found that consistent aerobic exercise specifically could reduce migraine days relatively consistently. Of course, all the other benefits you get from exercise is just going to top and push everything else on top of that as well too. So for you, if you're somebody who struggles with migraine, it's always best for you to start with just like really slow, tolerable sessions. This doesn't need to be a CrossFit workout. I don't want you training for a marathon. I want you just getting consistent daily aerobic exercise, bare minimum. Whatever that looks like for you, whatever you can do, that's what you should do. And that's all that we're asking for with that. The other thing is building stress tolerances. And so understanding how to like manage your stress with stress management skills. There's great programs out there. There's awesome behavioral therapies, specifically like cognitive behavioral therapies that can be really beneficial for helping you with teaching like trigger management, understanding pacing, giving you relaxation techniques. We've talked in the past about like belly breathing and how impactful that can be for vagal tone and feedback to the brain and the gut. All of those things can be really helpful for you, and it can decrease your attack frequency, the attack intensity, and it can also just make you just feel more at ease and in control, which is always going to be a good thing for you. Another thing, of course, is sleep consistency, quality, and duration. We know that irregular or fragmented sleep can actually increase the chances of you having a migraine attack. We know it can increase the frequency of those migraine attacks as well. Sleep is restorative. Sleep gives you more energy. Sleep helps with your brain health. Sleep helps with your mental health. Sleep can also have an impact on your ability to handle and structure blood sugar. So we know that getting a regular sleep schedule, having consistent sleep schedule, making sure you're getting to sleep on time and wake up at the same time every single day. These circadian rhythms are really important for us, and that's a great way for you to optimize and maximize your sleep. You don't probably have a shortage of Lunesta. You don't have a shortage of any sleep medications or melatonin. It's probably the fact that if you're not sleeping well, there's probably either a true medical condition for it, which you need to get diagnosed, or you probably have some really poor sleep habits. And I have a feeling that you would know that if you did. If you're somebody who watches Netflix at night, or the lights are on late at night, or you're on your laptop till midnight, 2 or 3 in the morning, then you know what you need to do. You need to change. And the last but not least thing is that you should be always looking out on your hydration status and your electrolyte count. So this is something that's really important for a lot of patients. We've found this clinically as well. A lot of patients who struggle with migraine really are not always having adequate ion storages and ion supplies. And so we know with the genetic issues that occur with migraine, a lot of them are actually in these ion transport channels where you get these like leaky membranes where these ions are kind of leaking out and they're no longer sustaining adequate volume or levels. And so by supplementing with electrolytes, it's a really simple, easy way to negate those issues, but hopefully more importantly too, give your blood a little bit more viscosity, a little bit more volume, and make sure that those ions are available if you need them. So what do you do? Here's how you put this into practice. One, all the meals that you eat, make sure that they're protein forward, fiber heavy, and they have healthy fats. All of those things are going to help you lower that blood sugar spike. You're going to make it longer, more prolonged. That's going to be way better for your brain and body just in general. If you can get 3 to 4 short bouts of like movement throughout the day, this is walking, this is, getting around the house, this is lifting things. If you can go for a workout, of course, do it. But if you can't, then that's fine as well too. Of course, you should setting consistent sleep-wake schedules. You should be getting to bed, same time, waking up, same time. Those circadian rhythms are a really important aspect. Last but not least, what we want you to do is we want you to make sure you're hydrated, make sure you get enough electrolytes. These small, steady adjustments with your food, your nutrition, your diet, your exercise, cognition, all of these things can play a big role. And what you need to do is you need to take this information and you actually need to implement it. Because knowledge is useless without application. And I know we've mentioned this before, but these are things that can actually help you. They may not help you tomorrow. They may not help you next week. They may not have a big impact next month, but over the months and the years, I promise you that they will, because you're changing the brain. And so you've heard the old adage, it takes 21 days to form a new habit. Well, unfortunately, that's not true. It actually takes somewhere around 66 days on average to form a new habit. So you've got some work to do. What that should mean, and that should show you, is that there's opportunities there to help you. So if you enjoyed this podcast, if you enjoyed this episode, we'd love to have you subscribe to our Migraine Mentors newsletter. This newsletter goes out every Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. Central Time. We distill 20 plus years of clinical practice into information that you can digest into easy, digestible tidbits for you to take and run with and implement into your daily life. We don't charge for this. We're not asking for you for anything except your feedback. And we hope that this is just making a difference in your life. So if you are a subscriber, thank you for supporting us. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for everything you've been giving us. If you're not, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button in the description below. And we look forward to seeing you at the next episode.